I think I should get a cup of tea first. I need something to do that.
Okay.
Tea, Tren, tequila.
By all means, I had sweet tea.
Okay, we have a cup of tea for all the tea.
Can I get a...
Welcome to another video. This is a Q&A. We have not done a Q&A on this channel since Viet freaking Nam, bro. I think our Q&A, Haman, was the last Q&A we ever did on my couch in Houston during that prep series. Nuts. Wow. So we're back at it. We're doing a Q&A. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I feel like this is long awaited. We are approaching 1 year together.
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody on the internet knows how we even met or anything. But like, we wanted to keep it that way because I think that like I didn't want to rush in. We both love making content, although we didn't want to rush in and just like,
Oh, hey, now we're dating, let's make content together.
you know, now we're in a place to where we want to do it and we want to start doing that more actively. So welcome to the video, and here we go. Caroline got some questions over the last couple days. I think you got like 25 questions. I think I got one, so we will be answering the questions that Caroline got because clearly none of you guys want to know what I want to say. So
first things first, do y'all share a toothbrush?
you had 25 questions. I was like, let's pick the 10 best and you choose this one.
I feel like that's a good one to start with.
We have before, once.
By accident.
Once. I wasn't just like, here's the thing, like when you're in that situation, it's not just like, you don't just like go to bed without brushing your teeth. Like you don't
Exactly.
start the day without brushing your teeth. Like you had to do what you had to do.
There's a lot of things that we share, but everyday toothbrush is not one of them.
Nope.
Did you feel attracted to each other right away, or was it a deep friendship that first grew into an attraction?
This is really funny actually, because we met on the beach on my birthday, and like I said hi to you. That was about it. Apparently,
I said hi to you.
okay.
Well, I don't even know.
It was that. It's like yeah, that's how it went. And apparently Far was there, and he was like, "Yo, dude, the way you looked at Caroline." I'm like,
What?
I'm like, Far notices things sometimes that I don't, so like maybe. Although at first, like I never thought twice about like, oh, I'm like really attracted to this girl, like physically. Like that's
What?
that comes off. That comes off. It doesn't sound the best, but I mean, like I'm not. I was like we met at the beach. I said hi to you, and I looked at you once, and I carried on.
There's no talking your way out of this one. Continue.
She was clearly now part of the same friend group in San Diego, which was really cool. Amongst our first couple of times hanging out, I think we had like one conversation, and after that, and it like went absolutely nowhere. Yet like every time we kept hanging out as a group, like she kept showing up. And so eventually I was like, wow, this girl is really freaking cool. Like I want to be friends with her. Like legit. Like I in my mind I made up, it was like, I want to be friends with this girl. I want to get to know this girl. And from there, I think we worked out once. At that point when we worked out, I was definitely physically attractive. But like genuinely, I think it started with the fact that I just believed that she was just a really cool, down-to-earth human and was like really fun to hang out with. And all the attractions was built off of that first and foremost. So
I agree. He's definitely not physically my type, or he wasn't when we first met. And I went out of my way to befriend him because of how my friends appreciated him and spoke so highly of him. So that was really the driver for me to assimilate myself and really get to know him and start a relationship with him, regardless of what that was, because I didn't have any intentions going into it. I just genuinely wanted to be his friend. And then we started hanging out more, and the best friendship just happened instantly, and it was super effortless.
Yeah.
Like the first night that we hung out at your apartment, he played the Mario Bros theme song on his piano, and the way that we looked at each other and just laughed like 7-year-olds, I could tell that we were going to be really, really good friends.
she also was really obsessed with my cat, so that was a pretty cool connection. And like the first time we ever hung out, like we got deep. Like we just got on a real level. And like I appreciate that with like anybody that I build a friendship or relationship with. It's just like I appreciate the fact that like people are willing to be open and honest and like express those kind of things. And so I thought that was really, really cool, especially at the place equally we were at when we first met. It was dope.
What are some of the things Chad does to drive you crazy? To be honest, I don't really get that annoyed with the things that, genuinely, like there's not really anything that drives me crazy.
Pretty good fucking life.
Honestly.
Wow.
I think the only thing that bothers me that's not specific to him, but it's just everybody, and I think what are you doing? Yeah, it comes from growing up in a house with a lot of people in it, and my mom was a big stickler about not doing our dishes, so we would have to put all of our dishes into the dishwasher. So when I see dishes pile up in the sink, that's what like gets me going. But that's not specific to you. That's like with myself, that's with anybody.
Although like, do we do a damn good job of that now?
Yeah, genuinely.
It took us a while like, this is completely off topic. We got to living together like pretty quickly. And like I came from like bachelor lifestyle, take care of my goddamn place, like treat it like a goddamn my castle kind of thing. And then we transitioned into living together. That was like different for me. Like I stopped being as cleanly. And now I'm like back to being, that was weird. I don't know what the fuck that happened. Regardless, why'd you look at me like that?
I have my theories. What is your favorite body part on Chad? His biceps. I have a thing for biceps.
I thought you were gonna say my butthole.
Favorite show to watch together?
Anything Marvel.
Marvel.
Yes, she has become a fucking Marvel bitch over the last year together. Very proud of her. I think this all started maybe like 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Like we decided to say we're gonna start Marvel movies from day one. And like from that point forward, you were the one that was like, oh, I'm so excited to watch Marvel tonight. And I'm like, yes.
I think it was March.
Yeah, so now we're here and we're watching like all the series and everything. She's bought into like what the next phases are gonna be and everything. It's great.
I grew up watching the big movies with my dad, but I was never fully invested like I am now. And now I'm like excited for each new She-Hulk episode. So I'm super excited. We're also watching Suits. If you guys haven't watched Suits, it is so intricate, and the level of development of all of the characters and the plot line is just incredible. So that's on Amazon Prime. Next place you guys will live.
Bali.
Oh, that was a good answer. I was
Yeah,
about to say
absolutely.
literally nowhere.
No, like it will be at least a 3 to 4 months hiatus. Haman's coming.
Yes.
It's gonna be fucking dope.
Three Musketeers.
Like it's gonna be fucking dope. We're gonna get like legit, mark my words, we're gonna do a YouTube series where I get shredded in Bali, eating only Bali food, and like we ride elephants and create sick content. That's all we do for 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
You create a summer shredding series in Bali.
Yeah. My diet's gonna completely change. I'm gonna eat the most like
Exotic fruit.
yeah. Like I might be super low in protein, but like I don't care. At that point I'm willing to experiment myself. I want to see where I'm at bodybuilding wise. But like
We'll
why
have enough.
not do it?
We'll have enough tissue by then. You know?
I'm not gonna eat like 70 grams of protein a day. I'll weather away like a leaf. I'm trying to be thick like Jerry.
Well, we'll figure it out. Bring a suitcase of just protein powder. Place you both really want to visit.
I'm in the Philippines, even though I've been there multiple
yeah.
times. Like I want her to go really, really bad, and I want to go really, really bad again. Although like I have this thing that like, Mom, I know you're watching this. I don't want to go without you. I don't want to go without my mom. Like that's just tradition. Got to be there with my mom because when we go, we visit family, and I'm not trying to visit family without my mom. That's her family. Like it's ours, but like it's hers. So yeah.
That's a place that I'm super excited to go to because it's so important to him, and he loves the place and his family so much. So not only am I excited because I love to travel, but I'm also excited to experience that with him.
If you guys haven't, like, search the Philippines videos on this YouTube channel and like watch those, cause like back in 2019, dude, I thought I was the coolest person ever. Like I recorded all these sick angles. I had a GoPro. I tried so hard. I mashed up all this music, made these edits and stuff, and like edited my own videos and put them out on like no Wi-Fi. It took 3 days to upload a single video. I put out like 3 videos in the Philippines. I was hustling, man. I thought I was Jay Alvarez. Like those videos are dope. They gotta watch them, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're still there.
They gotta watch them.
Will you ever get a dog or another cat?
Absolutely.
Tell them about Jarvis.
Oh, I freaking visualize about Jarvis almost every day at this point. We got to see how he will get along with the cats, specifically this one. This cat does not have a good history with dogs in the premise. Although she'll get used to it. Jarvis will be like, why do we need a dog when we have this? Right? You know what I mean? A dog is also a large responsibility. This hoe can take care of herself. She is a certified bad bitch. Regardless, Jarvis will be a Bernedoodle. He will be the butler of the home. He will be very handsome. He will have amazing manners. He will be trained very well. And also, he will be a crackhead. A harmony of all.
Bernedoodle on the screen.
A harmony of all. Jarvis. A big floofy Bernedoodle, not the small ones. Nope. A big floofy motherfucker. He's got his tongue out the window every car ride. Yeah. Jarvis.
That will be Chad's. I would get another cat all day, any day, every day. But I love going to shelters and looking at the old ones. Like the older ones, because they don't get adopted as much. All the kittens do. And I love giving the big fat boys a home. That's what I want. Your most unique date idea. Silent techno rave on the beach. That was our first date.
Are we trying to come up with one, or are we saying what it was?
I don't know. I just think that we had a really cool date that happened.
That was dope. Although it was not an intentional date. It was like, hey, wanted to go do this? It was our first hangout as friends. Why are you laughing?
You had intentions that night. You had been in my DMs for like a week.
that's true.
Yeah, you had intention. That was.
Oh, we had a routine. Like, this is the thing. Like, somebody's gonna ask us about how all this happened, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If they didn't, like we had a routine where, like, we would work throughout the day, and I think, no, this wasn't, but we didn't even do midday check-ins at this point because we were just in the DMs.
Mm-hmm.
We would have a routine where, like, at 7 or 8 p.m., we would both be loafing on our couches across San Diego from each other, and then just start DMing each other, like, memes and TikToks and just, like, chatting back and forth. Like, it was literally part of a routine. We knew we were both going to be on Instagram DMing each other for, like, that lasted for a week or two.
Yeah, and we would sit there and wait for who would send the first DM.
Yeah.
When did you know you liked each other?
I like how you asked each other, not, like, individually. Ooh, actually, I was in Washington.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was in Washington with RJ and Far, and I don't know what happens when you go to, not even vacation. What happens when you hang out with your boys, like right when you start DMing and talking to this girl? That's all you're gonna talk about, clearly, to them. And so, like, RJ and I were just on the back patio, and I'm like, yo, dude, I just need to tell Caroline something. So I shot her a FaceTime at like 8 p.m. and you answered. And I just told you how it was really cool that you challenged me, because when we were out one night, she just asked me, like,
So, like, what is this?
you literally just, like, asked me, and so, like, what is this? And I'm like, I just think you're a really fucking cool person, and, like, regardless of whatever title, like, I just want to build a relationship with you. I just, like, want to get to know you. And so, why that face?
Because it was more of like oh, this doesn't have to be a thing. We don't need to commit to anything. You can see other people. Bitch, you know you didn't want me to see other people. And then 5 minutes later, he's crying on the side of this bar, telling me his life's purpose and the whole intention behind Beyond Built. Crying, but he doesn't want me to see other people.
Yeah, I just, like, poured my heart out to her.
Literally 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I just poured my heart out to her. But anyways, I fucking FaceTimed her, and I was just like, no, I really appreciated the fact that you asked me that. I just thought it was super dope that, like, you challenged me to answer a question like that, instead of, like, just, you know? I just thought that was super dope. So, like, I shot her FaceTime, and she was really happy to hear that. And after that, I was just like, I looked at RJ, and I'm like, signed, sealed, delivered.
Mind you, 8 hours before that, Far had FaceTimed me and said that Chad said that he was texting his wife. Many seeds were planted.
Dude, I just
on
knew
that trip.
I knew what I wanted, but, like, I think after that phone call, I was just like, this is it.
I feel like that solidified it for me in the mutual sense of him going to Washington and us knowing that we were going to miss each other that much.
Yeah.
Because at that point we had been hanging out pretty frequently.
Yeah.
I knew that he was into me before that, though. Like, when we worked out together, that's when I caught the vibe. And I knew that he was into me because he would form check me on just about everything. Not in like a, hey, point your toes. It was like a, hey, let me caress your back while you're doing a hamstring curl kind of deal. So I definitely knew that was it. But yeah, when he left and I started to miss him, that's when I knew.
And then Certified Lover Boy dropped. And the rest is history.
That's very true.
Legit. And then I got a heart in my hair to commend to celebrate after that.
Who said I love you first?
It was me. It was so funny.
Oh, it was so cute.
It was so funny.
How did you do it?
We were on my couch in my living room because we would alternate going back and forth between my apartment and his apartment. And he was coming over that night. And he was just like really nervous when he came up to the floor of my apartment. And I couldn't figure out why. And that was when you just started salivating at an extremely fast rate.
My mouth was salivating at an extremely fast rate.
Yeah, and he was freaking out like 5 minutes before that, and then I was sitting next to him, and he was just like sweating, like overheating, and his heart was pounding. But he's like, no, like not sit in my lap, like I'm fine. And so I just knew that something was not right. And I just looked at him, and I held his face, and I was like, what is it? And he went, I love you. It was so cute.
Hey, I paused for like 30 seconds and just looked at you for like 30 seconds before I did anything. My mouth was just like...
Yeah, I was so terrified. I was like, did you hit somebody with your car? Did you sleep with someone else? Like, are we okay? Kind of a deal. And yeah, it was perfect.
What is the most surprising thing you've learned about the other getting into the relationship?
I think the thing that's most unique about Chad is the amount of depth that he has to him. That's been something that I feel has been really lacking in a lot of my past relationships, is that emotional intimacy and depth that he and I had off the bat initially, even in our friendship. And that's what we grew the foundation of our relationship on. So I've always appreciated how he has been able to reciprocate challenging me. And that's never been something that's been given to me. It's always been something that I felt like I've always been pushing and never really met there. So that's something that's unique to him that I really appreciate.
I think like similar lines for me, the first thing that came to my head was the first time we hung out. Well, I just like talked about the shit that like we've gone through, and like we got there pretty quickly. And when we started talking about like what we were going through recently, like just like even within 90 days of us moving to San Diego kind of thing, I feel like that was both like, well, for both of us, that was like hard to share. And I think it was pretty cool that we were going through similar things. Like, it's interesting how the front half of 2021, not the exact same, but we were going through very similar things that ultimately landed us both in San Diego at that time during the same month. And I just thought it was super dope that like everything fell into place for the two of us, even when we didn't know each other. Mm-hmm. Super dope.
We actually have a really similar story, which is really interesting to me. Not exactly the same, but our life events happened pretty similarly.
What is the top 3 turn-ons from your significant other?
In turn-offs?
Oh.
That's fucking juicy. Every time she dresses up for dinner or a date, amazing. Bun up. Like legit after the gym, bun up. Swear to God. Like sweaty with bun up. That simple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say post-gym too. There's something about post-gym.
Dude, it's the pump.
It's a vibe, yeah. Have you seen his arms after a workout? It's the bicep.
Like completely transform.
And it's the matching veins that go down the arm. Bro, when he does shit for me, like the fucking dishes, the first time he did the dishes for me, yeah, that, or just like the little things. He like cleans up the house or gets me flowers, little things like that just make me feel appreciated. So less like sexual turn on and more like a he cares about me turn on.
Facts. That's 3?
No, it was 2.
That's 2. What's the third?
I don't even know if it's anything specific that he does. I think we'll just catch each other in a moment where we're just very present with each other. It's like hanging out on the couch or waking up in the morning, laying in bed, something like that. And we're actually able to shut everything out and just be with each other. Mm-hmm. And then I think we're able to reconnect on that kind of a level.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. That's the only why I tell you, like, sometimes at night she'll like wash her face and do all that shit and then put her hair in a double braid. I'm like, this is my favorite look. And I'm like, not even kidding. But I think genuinely it's the fact that like we're so present and like we're just there existing with nothing else on our mind. Of like, yeah, turn offs.
We're supposed to have time like that and he ends up working and we don't. Drier than the Sahara. 10-year drought. I don't think there's like very many turn offs. I think it's just a lack of time or a lack of intention or a lack of presence more than anything. So like the opportunity doesn't present itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is something that I find myself, this is funny, that I find myself a little pestered with, and it's 100% from childhood. Both of my parents, like anybody that has a Filipino mom knows this, or even an Asian mom in general, but especially Filipino, they talk loud. Very fucking loud. When she talks like really loud, like, and I'm trying to focus, I'm like, it drives me wild. It drives me wild. I don't tell you that, because like, what is the point? And like, why would I ever project? I like to take care of it. I like turn music on or something, or like close my door, or like go somewhere else.
Or slam your door.
But yeah. Yeah. Like one time, like I was sitting here responding to messages and you were on a meeting and I was just like, no. No. Yeah. Oh, but it's not all the time. It's just like specific, I don't know, specific times.
No, I feel the same way.
It's not even really a turn off, but like.
I mean, I feel the same way about you on some meetings.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I bark a lot.
Yeah, so I think that we take turns, and it's more of just like a mood, you know, like when we're trying to focus on something.
Dude, it's like literally when I'm texting, I swear to fuck, when I'm texting or doing anything and I get a banner notification and I accidentally hit the banner while I'm like texting or actually doing something on my phone and it takes me to a different app, lose my shit. It's like that.
I feel
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're so focused on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything that's distracting immediately pisses you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like why is it worth like blowing up about? Like you've walked in front of the TV screen and I've gotten the ball stolen from me and got scored on during FIFA and like what am I gonna do? Yell at you?
Oh, he's such a king about that. I figured he would like throw hands. So it's not like I've intentionally done it, but like I could have gone around the other way, but I just kind of wanted to like see what would happen.
Yeah, dude, just
and
don't be a fucking loser, man. If you get scored on because of that shit, go score another one.
Love. Alpha. King.
How do you balance your work schedules and time for each other?
This is something that we're doing fucking amazing again. So like when we were hopping back and forth between places, it was like super dope because we obviously had our own morning routine. We were able to, although like when we slept over, made the mornings a little bit slower, but like that was okay with us. Like we were good with that. Throughout the day, we just hustle, maybe check in once, and then like come over, and then put our phones down and spend intentional time together. I think in moving in together, we got a little bit away from that because we didn't think that we needed to set cutoffs and everything because we were in the same vicinity all day long. And like in the conversations that we've had recently, we've gotten back to that now, and we've been good about it. Like when 7 p.m. comes, like phone's off, phone's done. In the morning, like we will spend the time together. Like we will make sure we go on a walk, do cardio, do something together in the morning. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to meditate together. We might listen to the same podcast. We might talk about the same thing. But like ensuring that the first hour and the last hour of every single day are spent very present with each other has been super dope, and it like sets the tone for the day. And like we've been so productive since doing that together.
I agree.
So productive. So
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that I don't think it's ever a balance because we both understand that we love what we do. It is our lives.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, it's just because we love it. And sometimes there are times where you can't shut off. And he and I both respect it. And as long as it's not an everyday thing like it was, because it was a crutch or an excuse there for a little bit, as long as it's a, hey babe, I can't right now, I really need to finish this and I just can't focus on whatever we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And okay, we're gonna move on. And it comes down to really making it a priority and making sure that we have that intention with each other. When we're with each other, we're with each other.
Yeah.
Because we don't get as much of that time as I would think like a traditional job would be. Because you just have your clock in, clock out, and you're at work, and then there's not as much pre and post work.
We've also gotten to the point where we just know each other so well that like I can see it in her face when she's like locked in, and she can see it in mine when I'm locked in. And sometimes you go to the point of like, what's up? And I'm like, I don't answer you. And you're just like, no. You just know I'm in thought about something.
Half the time you don't even hear me though.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
We've just gotten really good at reading each other and also being able to accommodate for those needs.
Yeah.
He's gotten really good at supporting me in little things when I have a lot going on. So if there's something that needs to be done around the house and I have a lot going on, he'll be more supportive in like that. Or if he's locked into something, I'll do the same for him. So just the more that we learn about each other, the better that we can accommodate for it. And just the more intentional you have to be.
Thoughts on marriage and kids?
It's a juicy question, you know? Oh my
And
God.
also something that I made it a point to talk about when we went to Mexico together. And it was about a month before we moved in together. And I don't date lightly. I don't take that lightly, especially if we're going to move in together. I take that very seriously. So that was a conversation that I initiated. And we talked about what that looked like for us moving forward and what our intentions were. And we were actually very much on the same page, pretty easily.
We both are, and I've noticed I've noticed a lot recently that I'm like an extremely visionary person. in a sense, to where even when I was in college, all I could think about was being a full-time coach and YouTube being full-time. Like, and like, cool, now I'm here. All I can think about at one point is like living in California. I've thought about that my whole life, and like it happened. And then like now I'm at the point where I'm visualizing so far forward of like the things that I want to create, like, and the life that I want to live and who I become. And I cannot visualize all of the things that I want in my life without our family being at the core of that. And I've come to learn that like that will be like the fucking coolest thing ever to me. That will literally be the coolest thing ever to me. To like be doing everything that I get to do and love and have a family. Is that anytime soon? No. Is it part of my visualization that like keeps me going and drives me to become the best man I can be? Absolutely. So like, yeah, I think the thought's there. If I'm not like forward focused and I'm not like thinking about these things constantly, you know, I don't give myself direction. And I think I talked about this like yesterday, and it's kind of made me clear on like just who I am and what I do. It's just like I become very focused on things that I want, and I don't look elsewhere. And the less distracted I am, the faster everything happens. And so, absolutely, it's a topic of conversation because everything that I like to focus on, I like to talk about.
I honestly feel like he's more into that than I am right now. Like, he thinks about it a lot more often. Obviously, it's still something that I do want. It's just very not in my primary focus right now. I think about together as a married couple, as husband and wife, more than I do like us having a family just yet. He's better at like long-term, bigger picture, and I'm more like shorter-ish term, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's more what I think.
Yeah.
We're both very on the same page though. We want our son to be an alpha. Absolute alpha. Respectfully pull women. Respectfully.
How many kids do you guys want?
A boy and a girl will be dope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna pull that whole try thing though. I'm not gonna do that whole try until I get kind of thing.
No,
It's
it's
max.
2 and we're done.
2 max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do want them in sports.
D1, not for education. We are wild in saying that. You think about that? Oh yeah, we want them to play D1 sports, but don't not go for school. We want them to play sports.
And you and I are both very non-traditional.
Yeah.
What is something, if there is something, that you guys don't know about each other?
Dude, I feel like we just shared like the only thing recently.
We went through like everything that happened before us moving to San Diego. We recapped that whole dark time, 6-month, not so awesome side of us. And we spilled like the details of everything.
Yeah.
And I personally don't feel comfortable not telling him everything.
Yeah.
Not in like a toxic sense, or I feel like he has to know every single thing that happens. He's just genuinely my best friend.
Yeah.
And I would rather him know everything about me. So if something comes up and we don't know if it's something that we would necessarily talk about, that's more of a push for me to go and tell him.
I mean, the way I look at it is like, dude, there is not a single thing that you don't know about me. So like, why would that be any different? You know, like, we're all best friends here. Legit.
Yeah.
So like, there's no reason in anything. It's like like anything comes up, you're the first person I go to. So
Right.
that's just that's just how it works. Yeah.
Best relationship advice that you can give?
Fall in love with your best friend. Genuinely.
Super simple.
If the friendship is there, then the intimacy just naturally follows. Dude, you're friends with
Too
all.
many best friends.
So, look, that's lovely for you. You have so many options.
It's true.
But
So take this with a grain of salt. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, because guys, this is like my second ever relationship. Not ever, but I'm only gonna
Like a
count.
big one,
I'm
yeah.
only gonna count this. And so I mean, like, it's funny because the story I was telling myself in my head before moving to San Diego, I was like, oh no, fuck everything. I'm just gonna fucking work, and I'm not gonna get in a relationship. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. It happened. It happened. So like, it's gonna happen when you least expect it, kind of thing. And like, I think it's funny because the more I focus on like not trying to create things, and the more I focus on like, I don't want to be that, or like, I don't want to get that, the more it actually manifests into my life, just because that's where my thoughts are going. I'm not saying that like that's why it happened, although I think that the greatest things started happening. Let's speak outside of the relationship first. Maybe we're talking to people. I guess I'm talking to people that aren't in one, and I can speak to both. Like, I ultimately, like, decided that, like, I'm gonna really focus on me and, like, spend time with me and, like, move in with myself. And, like, that was the coolest thing I ever done. Like, you were leading myself before that, too. And so, like, during that process, we were able to, like, learn about each other. And I'm a firm believer in this. It's, like, I'm a firm believer in how we developed and who we were becoming before we even met to set the foundation. 100% set the foundation. And from that point forward, again, it's just, like, best friendship. Like, I think from the get-go, there was nothing that I didn't trust telling you. As uncomfortable as some things were, like, I found no other option in that. And I think for us, especially, it's having conversations around understanding the individual. In a sense of, like, what gets you clicking, like, what are your values, like, what do you uphold to yourself, like, what standards do you hold for yourself, kind of thing. Getting to know those things is really, really important, because if you look at somebody's standards, you automatically know how they're going to operate. If you look at someone's values, you know, you can kind of tell when are you not operating as you, and when are you operating as your best self, kind of thing. And also, like, there's definitely seasons, like, you've had your downs, I've had my downs, and, like, I mean, I think it's pretty simple and straightforward that, like, we're gonna help each other through those things, and, like, not feel like my answer is right or your answer is right. Like, being able to navigate together on some things and, like, help the individual. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm going with that. I think this is all simple and straightforward. It's just, like, it just comes down to a high quality relationship and friendship. I mean, that's it.
I think it's also important to know that even though you are in a relationship with someone that could be 100% your match, is your best friend, it's not just going to be easy. Like, it is a commitment and a choice to wake up and choose the other person every single day. Because there are going to be days that are harder, there are going to be days that are super effortless, and something that I love hearing, and I think the Hormozis say it really well, even though theirs was more so non-romantic when they started and ours was a little bit more romantic when we did start, but they say love logically. So at the end of the day, if we're angry at each other, we can sit there and be like, oh, it'd be so much easier with someone who just, like, worshipped the ground that I walked on, but, like, you're my best friend. You know, like, at the end of the day, you have to choose the human, not just what's easy. So the grass is not always greener on the other side. Like, you have to fully jump in and dive in and commit to it. And it's not always going to be easy, because he and I both went through a rough time at the same time. So we weren't really able to be there for each other because we didn't know. So we had to go through that together, so that now we know, and we know how to support each other better. So if that's your person, you got to commit to it, and you got to continue to walk with them even when it gets hard, because there's going to be whole seasons where it's not super easy.
On the flip of that, like, commit to you. Like, this is, I think, the biggest thing. Like, you have to stay so committed to yourself in a relationship. Like, genuinely, you can't rely on one another in that sense. And, like, you can't, like, point the finger. Like, you ultimately have to understand that, like, everything is your fault, even in the relationship. And, like, you must take responsibility for everything. Like, there hasn't been, to this day, argument or conversation or something that's happened or something that I've done, but, like, in the moment, I'm like, cool, it happened. And then hours later go by, and then I look at the situation objectively, and I'm like, okay, I can see where I was out of line here, and here's the story I'm telling myself right now. Meaning that, like, I felt that way, and I did that because X, Y, Z. Now that I have the story, I'm able to come to you and say, hey, like, I apologize, here's why I did that. And then that's me taking responsibility and ownership, because she's not gonna hold me accountable. Like, I don't expect that. Like, I really don't. Like, at the end of the day, like, no matter what, I'm gonna be the one that holds me most responsible. She's gonna be the one that holds herself most responsible. And when we're each doing that, we're able to come together that much stronger. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is that's how we're able to, like, communicate on such a great level. It's because we ultimately do take responsibility. And sometimes might not be in the moment, but we will always circle back around to it.
Yeah.
That's just who we are. So, yeah.
And then it becomes a cool dynamic of honoring your relationship needs by honoring yourself. And the more you know yourself, the better partner you can be.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of self-discovery separately, and then bring it together and we talk about what we're learning what we're growing on. So never stop working on yourself, even if you're in a relationship. It can't be all about the relationship. It has to be a continual work as individuals coming together.
Yeah, and I mean, I can speak to that too, like learning and navigating like how to operate in a relationship now, because everything that like I've done up until this point in my life, obviously there's been, I'm not here without the people, right? But I've been single, right? And so like that's the life that I've been used to living, and yeah, I can't keep living all the way that way and expect us to work out and do things. And so like navigating that and learning how to do that, especially living together, and like we did it like pretty quickly, but I think it was just a complete 180 that we had to ultimately learn, and like it's been really cool because we've grown really strong from that. But yeah, I mean, like, don't expect your life to be the exact fucking same as it was before getting in a relationship, and that's the cool part. But I mean, yeah, dope. Last question. Sick. What's the funny question?
Huh?
We need a funny question.
Funny question? Does size matter?
2-inch shrimp gang, No problem.
No, it doesn't.
It's the fucking Filipino water moccasin, About that long. No problem.
It doesn't matter, honey.
She like the sucky 2-inch.
And then yours, are you a boob or an ass guy?
Oh, are you kidding me? You do not know who she is without her ass. That's part of her identity at this point. Jesus Christ.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I actually take great pride in it. Built that shit myself.
All the internet. Alright, that's video's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To top me